Okay, so in the previous weeks, we have learned a lot of things. So the first thing that we learned are the tones. So now, Micheline is going to ask you one question. The easiest form was okay? Then, do you still remember how do we pronunciate the 4 tones? So, the first tone is go straight, and the second tone was like asking a question, and the third tone was and the last one, Remember? One more time. Okay? Because later we're going to do a practice. Right now, you don't have to write anything, okay? When I say, now you need to write this, and then you write. Right now, don't write anything, okay? So, after the tones comes our vowels. Also, we call it finals, right? So, remember who they are? Okay, many people can remember and say it, right? So, follow my rhythm and let's speak it, okay? A, O, I, U, U. And the compound final? I, A, W, ow, O, U, Y, Y, R. And now I want you to read it one time, okay? A, O, I, U, U. I, A, W, ow, O, U, Y, Y, R. Very good. Okay, so I know that you have a habit that when you are reading the letters, you always read like like in Chinese that you are reading the second tone, and the last tone. But try to not to do that in Chinese when you read the finals or the consonant without the tones, okay? That is not a good habit, okay? Just read it with the first tone, alright? And then comes our consonant. Yes, consonant. So the consonant that we learned last week, they are, remember? Bo, po, mo, fo, the, t, n, l, g, k, h. This one, G, Qi, Xi, and then Zhi, Shi, Shi, Ri, Zi, Ci, Si, I, U. Okay? So be careful, guys. Be careful, please. This one, this one, this one, this one, and these ones. Oh, and this one too, of course. So, why? Because they sound different in Spanish or in English, right? Bo, po. This one sounds different in Spanish. Mo, fo, de, t, 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 n, l. G, k, h, g, like Miss G, G of Miss G. Chi, chi. Remember, this one is not gu, it's chi. Okay? G is this one. G and chi. Chi, shi. And this one is not chi, this one is ch. J, ch, sh, r, z, c, s, i, u. Okay? Now, I am going to challenge you. We are going to write 6 words. Okay? Alright, Michelin is going to write I, U here. And then we can have some space here to try to write the words. Okay? They are 6. So now it's time to write down. Alright? Now I'm going to say the words and you try to write down. And don't forget that you need to put the tones. Remember, where do we put the tones? When we have a final, compound final like this one, or even more, or 2 finals together, where do we put the tones? Okay? So now I am going to say the syllable and you are going to try to write it down. Okay? I will read 3 times. The first one. 有 有 有 The second one. 鸡呀鸡呀鸡呀 The third one. 歌歌歌 Okay, so these 3 are easy because these words are only have 1 syllable. So let's see. The answer is, the first one is 有. It's better I use another color that you can see better. Okay? The first one is 有. Did you get it right? The second one is 家 of 你家有几口人? Did you put the tongue in the right place? And then the third one is 歌 of 哥哥. Very well done. Okay, let's continue. Okay, continue writing this. Okay, this exercise we're doing. All right. Now Michelin's going to read the words number 4. Okay, it's 草莓草莓草莓 Okay, the fifth one. 红色红色红色 Here we had a nasal ending, remember? That Michelin forgot to review with you before. So the nasal ending we had an, in, when, yun, and on, yin, on. And number 6, the last one, okay? 校服校服 A little bit difficult, right? 西衣袄校服 If you can't finish, you can stop the video, and until you finish, you can continue watching the video, okay? Alright, now let's see the right answer. Alright, the first one was 草莓. It's a fruit. Strawberry. 草. Okay, remember? C. 草莓. And that number 5 was 红色. Eh? Have you got the right tone? 红色 was red. Yes, the last one was 西衣袄. Where do we put the tone? Of course, in ah, right? Because ah is the first one. The first one in the group. We put in ah. 校服 is school uniform. When I see you again in the school, you were wearing the 校服. Okay? Have you got all right? This exercise is a little bit difficult, okay? If you cannot get it right, don't worry. Copy them down and read a little bit and practice a couple of times, okay? And now we're going to continue with another important content called recognize syllable as a whole. So we have learned the tones, the vowels, and the consonant. And we can combine them like this, right? We can say E-O, like spelling in English. G-E-R, G-A, G-E-G, C-A-O, C-A-O, M-A-M-E, H-O-N, H-O-N, S-E-S. But we have a group of the syllable, they don't spell, never spell, because they don't sound the same as that when we're spelling the words. They are recognized syllables as a whole part, okay? Okay, so recognize syllables as a whole, it means we don't spell it, okay? Never spell it, because we can't. Because when we spell it, it doesn't sound the same and doesn't make any sense because it doesn't. This syllable, if you spell it as the normal way, it doesn't make any sound. It doesn't make any sense because that syllable doesn't exist in the Chinese languages, for example. Okay, we have learned in the consonants 直 sh 时 r and z c s. Right? These are the only consonants, right? They haven't got any finals or vowels together. But there is a very special situation is when they combine with e. This letter, all we know, is read as E. But as I said before, we don't spell it. We don't say G-E-G. Because G will be like the surname of Miss G will be this one. Right? Chi-E-Chi. Chi will will be like another Chinese teacher in secondary, Miss Wang. Her name is Qi. Is this one will be this one, right? And she. We don't have this sound in Chinese. So how do we read these recognized syllables as a whole? So this is the way that we read it. Zhi, shi, shi, ri, zi, ci, si. The same as the consonant pronunciation. Okay, right now I am going to give you one example, and I hope you can follow me to write them down, okay? Write them down. Zhi, zhi, zhi as the consonant pronunciation. Zhi. Okay, one example. 四只猫，只 Remember, is the measure words for the animals. 四只猫，四只狗 right? 吃 right? 吃 But we can do another today. For example, 尺子 Who can tell me what is 尺子? The things that you can easily find in your classroom. A ruler. Yes, 尺子 is a ruler. 狮 an animal. Okay. The number. Okay, number 10. How do you say? 十 Yes. 十 日 One word, new words. 日出 The sunrise. When the sun comes out in the morning from the east is 日出 Okay? 滋滋滋 A lot of words that we have 滋 And besides 滋 normally doesn't have any tones, okay? We have syllables doesn't have tones like the family member. Remember, 爸爸妈妈爷爷奶奶哥哥姐姐弟弟妹妹 all these family words, the second syllable doesn't have sound, right? And all the words finish with z doesn't have sound either. So we have a lot. For example, in the classroom, we can find 桌子、椅子、本子、池子 right? A lot of things with 子 Okay, today the example will be 儿子is your Well, you don't have I do Well, I don't either 儿子 is son I have two daughters that as you know I don't have 儿子我有女儿子 Okay? 次 is times. We say 次 times. For example, 三次 I went to Madrid 3 times. For example, 我去马德里3次 Okay? 四你家有几口人？我家有4口人。Alright, let's continue now. I, U. These are the the consonant that we learned, right? I, U, 鱼 耶 月 Okay, a new group. So these two are also with I. Okay? I, sorry, this one is U. So why we don't spell here? It's not like this. They have different pronunciation. If you spell it, you should write them in another time. But this group is E and E, they sound the same, right? So if we say number E, number E, we need to write Y and I together. We cannot only write Y or only write I because all the syllables need to combine with one consonant and one final and one vowel, okay? E. U. U. For example, 5岁. 5岁. Our infant kids, I4, I5, they have 5 years old. 5岁. Okay? U. This one is not you, not you, because E and U together doesn't read you, read U. Okay? This one is U. U. Like U, but we don't write it. Okay? U. For example, the fish. The fish is 鱼, right? Okay. 一, 一, these two are very easy. For example, how do you say grandpa? Grandpa is, as I said, the family member, the second, doesn't sound, doesn't put the tone, doesn't have the tone, okay? Yeah. Okay. 月, like this one. 月 is the month or the moon. For example, now is the May is the 5th month, right? So it's 5月. Okay? 5月. Alright, the last group. 元, yin, yun, and ying. Okay, so these two are special. Yin and ying. Remember, in the last week, we have learned the nasal ending. We have an, in, and on, ying. So with G and without G, with G, without G, the pronunciation should be here, in. With G, the pronunciation should be here, in. Okay? So yuan, for example, the Chinese money is yuan. For example, I have 10 yuan, like you have 10 euro, but yuan is the Chinese money. We can say 10 or 10. Very good. 10 yuan. 10 yuan. Okay. Yin. We have one adorable subject that we all love it is music, right? And we have three very, very good music teacher in our Yago school. Music, 音乐, remember 音乐, okay? 云 with the second tone is the cloud, 云, okay? And then 音 we have, right now, even though we cannot go, but we still can see them in Netflix, right? 电影 are films, movie, okay? So all these words, you don't have to remember what the meaning of them, but I would like you to write them down and record a video practicing the recognize syllables as a whole. 日、吃、诗、日、子、次、思、一、五、语、耶、约、元、音、韵、音. Okay? And their examples. Okay? Alright. And now, let's, can you read one time with me? Let's practice together. Okay? 日、四日、吃、池子、诗、十、日、日出、子、儿子、次、三次、四、四口人、一、五岁、鱼、爷爷、月、五月、圆、十元、音乐、云、音、电影。Okay, so remember, send me the video when you are reading this, okay, and your picture of your practice of the dictation and all the written work of this, okay? I will attach a picture of all this content down below that you can check, okay? If you cannot follow, you can also copy from that picture, okay? 再见。